Today we are going to be making Fir Tip ice cream. Now this one is pretty uncommon, but I was reading somewhere about how you could take fir tips and actually make that into a simple syrup, and people use that a lot for drinks, different things like that. But I thought, what if I made that into an ice cream? This one's gonna be very experimental because this is gonna be taking longer than just the day that I'm filming this. So the game plan for this whole thing is I'm gonna be taking these fir tips, then I'm gonna be putting them in a jar and adding sugar to that and letting that over time, the sugar draw the moisture out and turning this into a syrup. Then I will then add the syrup to the ice cream base. You wanna make sure you grab the young new growth that's happening in the spring, which is when I'm harvesting this now. It has almost a kind of citrus kind of aftertaste. I think let's go ahead and put this in the jar and come back to this in anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, see how it turns out. Okay, that is ready to go. I'm excited to see what happens with this over the next couple of weeks. But until then, let's go ahead and lock this up. All right, see you guys on the other side. Okay, it is now a month later and a lot has changed for the fir tips in their jar. As you can see here, we started out all the way up here and it has dropped all the way down and has separated, and that is the sugars drawing out a lot of the moisture that were in the fir needles. And then this part here is still some of the sugar that never dissolved. So it's kind of like three different layers right there. But what we want is this dark syrupy stuff right here, and that's gonna add our flavor. All right, that's what that looks like right there. Yeah, that has a strong smell to it. And I wasn't sure what was gonna happen over time with this. Yeah, this has definitely lost some of that cleaner smell to it. I would say this is more of like a medicinal kind of smell to it, but I think I need to go ahead and get all of the fir tips out of here, so I just have the straight syrup. So I'm going to go ahead and strain this, and then we can get to making our ice cream. All right, so I think I'm going to be using this smaller container here that should hold all of our syrup. And then I'm going to be using this strainer here. So I'm going to put that there, and actually I'm going to try balancing it. All right, start to pour this there. Okay, that took a while, but I'm happy with the result. We got a lot of syrup from there. You can see here how kind of syrupy it is. It's a little on the runny, watery side, but that's totally fine. Let's do a little more taste. Yeah, that actually helped me get a much better kind of flavor profile for this. It's definitely a very fresh kind of herbal, medicinal type flavor. Right now, I'm not sure 100% how much of this I'm going to add because I want to make sure that flavor comes through in the ice cream. So I might play it kind of by ear as I'm making this. All right, let's start with our cup of milk. Then next we're adding our dry ingredients, which I'm using a little bit of brown sugar and then guar gum as our thickening agent for this. All right, so mix these together. Okay, I'm gonna start with 2 tablespoons of this syrup and then kind of eyeball it from there. Actually, I'm gonna do a third one. All right, let's mix that together. So that looks good right there. And you can see the color kind of already changed a little more of a lighter brown to match the syrup. So yeah, let's go ahead and pour this and put it in the freezer. All right, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, nice smell right there. That's what that looks like. All right, let's go ahead and throw this bad boy in the freezer and see how it does tomorrow. Okay, it is the next day. Let's see how this turned out. Yeah, so that got a lot darker per usual. You can kind of see how it's kind of like exploded right here. And I'm guessing that's probably something to do with the syrup that's in there. But other than that, it looks like it froze pretty well. You can see right there. Yeah, this still smells like the syrup, so that's good. That means that scent and taste is probably gonna still be in there. I can see some crystallization in here, and I'm guessing that's probably from some of the water from the syrup. Because we didn't use a ton of it, we should be fine with this mixing in the Ninja Creami. So far so good. Let's go ahead and blend this up. All right, this is looking super good. It's got a light brown tint to it. It's almost like a really French vanilla, or maybe like a maple ice cream or something like that, which makes sense because our syrup was kind of maple colored. That's what it looks like right there. Looks like it's holding its shape pretty well, which is a good sign. Yeah, I can still get the Fir Tip syrup smell out of there. It's not as strong as it was initially when it was pulled fresh out of the freezer, but I'm sure the flavor is still there. I would say this is looking pretty good, and I think it's time to go ahead and serve this up. Because yeah, I'm really excited to see how this tastes. Wow, this actually has some pretty good hold to it. I think that syrup is really doing wonders with making this more firm. Then we gotta add our garnish on top. You can see right there. Presentation-wise, this is probably one of the prettiest ice creams I've made. It's just got a very subtle light brown color, and then obviously this pop of green here is really helping. Yeah, I'm really curious to try this, and I think I'm tired of waiting, so let's go ahead and dig in. Bon appetit.
What we have here is your standard Christmas tree. Pretty neat.
That's a 10.
Dang, that is unlike anything I've ever had. Wow, that is super good. It's refreshing. So this is leaning more towards kind of like a tea ice cream, but also not at the same time. I don't need to go for another bite to kind of help describe this flavor. Yeah, that's super refreshing. It's got a little bit of like citrus notes to it. A little almost like cola a little bit, and then obviously you can taste like, you know, the fir. Flavor wise, it tastes very much like the syrup, which the syrup is good, so this is good too. Consistency wise, this is amazing. I mean, really my only complaint with this is I wish there was something crunchy in the ice cream as well. This could actually probably work really well with like granola maybe. Something crunchy in there just to give it a textural element. But other than that, this is amazing. I mean, I'm not even nitpicking this, I'm just listing improvements. So because of all of this, I have to give the Fir Tip ice cream a 5 out of 5 scoops. This one took a long time to get here, from having to harvest the fir tips to putting those in a jar and waiting a month, which in retrospect, I probably could have waited closer to 2 to 3 weeks, but it's still, you have to wait quite a bit of time. But I think this result is well worth the wait. Yeah, this was an absolute win, and I'm excited to eat the rest of this. So yeah, the Douglas Fir trees apparently makes really good ice cream. Thank you everyone for taking time out of your day to watch me make weird ice cream flavors. I really enjoy it, and I enjoy sharing it with you guys. And if you enjoy that too, feel free to like this video and subscribe so you can see when I upload next, which is every Sunday. And if you have any ideas for future flavors of ice cream you want me to try, feel free to leave those in the comments below. And if you want the recipe that I use in this episode, that'll be in the description below. Again, thank you for watching and have a great day.